All right, this is our flagship, the Tico Bell. Tico Bell is a C-47, which is a derivative of the DC-3 from the 1930s, the Douglas DC-3. And when World War II started, the military bought all these and called them C-47 Skytrains. The British version is the Dakota, same thing, designed for cargo and personnel transport. You see the nose art out here, the Tico Bell. This used to be the Titusville Cocoa Beach Airport, Tico for the locals. So she is the Tico Bell. She's got most of her clothes on, which is unusual for World War II nose art, but it's a PG museum. Let's walk around the other side and we'll take a look. So we know that this C-47 was born in 1942, and it went right to the southeast area of the United States, Georgia area, and started training with the 82nd Airborne and the 101st Airborne. They were trying to design and work out the kinks of this whole air assault thing where paratroopers would drop out of the airplanes behind the lines. That was brand new in World War II. So in 1942 and 1943, it spent most of that time training with the 82nd and some of the 101st. Then in January of 1944, everything we had went to England. We were starting to get ready for the invasion of the continent, or D-Day as people know it now. Both airborne divisions, 82nd and 101st, went over, and they continued to train with all these C-47s that were now in England. We had about 127 air bases in England scattered all over the place that were prosecuting the war at that time. June 1st, 1944, all those air bases were locked down for security and secrecy, and all the Allied airplanes, we had about 12,000 airplanes from all different countries that were stationed there. They all got these paint jobs on them, these black and white stripes, mostly done with paint brushes by the aircrew themselves. But about 12,000 airplanes got these stripes painted on them, and that was for deconfliction, but for friend and foe, because we had a lot of different airplanes from a lot of different countries flying, and we didn't want to shoot our own people down. Plus, we were going to be flying over the Navy as they crossed the channel, and the Navy is really against having airplanes fly over them. So this was to identify the friends from foe. Today we call these invasion stripes. They lasted about 6 months in the military. This airplane, along with all those other airplanes, about 825 C-47s took off on June 5, 1945, the night before what we call D-Day now. And they were loaded with these paratroopers. 825 C-47s took off. This airplane crossed the beach number 50, right at the pointy end of the invasion, dropping 19 82nd Airborne troops on a little town called Saint-Mère-Église, just outside of Normandy. Went back without a scratch. Got 19 more 82nd Airborne troops and made a second trip. Went back without a scratch. This time they went back and pulled 2 gliders behind them loaded with infantry and ammo and deployed them over Normandy, where they glided to the ground and deployed their troops. So the airplane I'm standing in front of today, our flagship, the Tico Bell, made 3 trips on Normandy on D-Day. After that, it did C-47 stuff, participated in the airdrop in southern France to cut off the Germans. It then participated in Operation Market Garden. After D-Day, we had Operation Market Garden, which was the actual invasion of Holland, the Netherlands. And the plan was to drop paratroopers on the bridges going from France to Netherlands and hold the bridges for the tanks to come up and invade Holland. The operation was considered a failure, but this airplane participated dropping paratroopers on the bridges. After that, the next big event was the Battle of the Bulge. In December of 1944, this German army counterattacked and put a bulge in the line, hence the name. And you may have seen Band of Brothers, where the 101st Airborne Division was surrounded in the city of Bastogne. And they were under siege, surrounded by the German army for about 2 weeks. This airplane dropped supplies to them during that time. The next big event was the actual invasion of Germany, the crossing of the Rhine. And the entire 17th Airborne Corps was dropped behind the line on the next day, called Operation Varsity. Still to this day, the largest one-day parachute drop in history. And this airplane participated in that. After that, the war was won. They hang around for a little while to see what happened in the Pacific, and when World War II ended, this airplane was put in storage in England for several years. In 1948, the Soviet Union surrounded the city of West Berlin, and the Allies were forced to supply that city of 1 million people by air. So we had what we end up calling the Berlin airlift. All these planes that were in storage came out of storage, and our plane, the Tycho Bell, made dozens and dozens of trips into West Berlin, supplying that city during that year-long endeavor. After that, the Norwegian Air Force asked for some C-47s to help start their Air Force up, and this is one of the many airplanes that we did give them, and it was a Norwegian C-47 for years. And then when they upgraded, they gave it back, and then shortly thereafter, Denmark asked for one C-47, and randomly we gave them this airplane. And they painted it very nice and put carpet in it, and soundproofing, and nice seats, and a bathroom. And this airplane was Air Force One for the Queen of Denmark. And the Queen deserves a bathroom. So when the Queen upgraded and gave it back to our Air Force in the 70s, our Air Force didn't fly C-47s anymore, and they donated it to our museum in 1977. And so she still flies today. We still actively drop recreators, reenactors out of it, and other parachute clubs fly out of it. It just flew this last weekend for the Round Parachute Association. So quite a historical landmark.